When I was quite young, the reason why I stopped dancing was because I felt isolated. I didn't have an interpreter in my class. I found it really hard to be involved in the classes because the rest of the girls would be talking to each other and chatting amongst themselves, and I couldn't be involved in that. So I stopped. I'm Anna Seymour. I'm a contemporary dancer. I was born deaf, so that's the only way of life, of living that I know. I can't compare what it's like to be deaf, what it's like to be hearing. I can't compare the two. So really, it's not such a big obstacle for me. It's more people's attitudes about me being a deaf dancer. I came back into it in my early 20s. I realised that I really miss dancing, and I knew that. I've always known that from when I was a little girl, that I wanted to become a dancer. But it wasn't until my early 20s when I actually truly believed that I could become a professional dancer. I've been involved in conversations with different choreographers, different dance companies, different dancers about my experiences as a deaf dancer. And I've explained what it's like for me to be involved in a class where I can't access the information, and what a big difference that makes when I actually have an interpreter in the room. I think a lot of people would like to know what it's like. They want to help make the change happen. Arts Access Victoria have provided the admin support that I've needed. Also, Fiona Cook has given me a lot of encouragement to continue my dancing career. And we had a very good working relationship for many years. And she's just wonderful. She's such a great support for me. She's really encouraging. She's really helped me to apply for the grants, to teaching me how to apply for grants. She's talked with different dance companies, different choreographers on my behalf to really advocate for me, and then to provide funding for interpreters and explaining how to work with a deaf dancer. It's really good, I can focus more on my dance practice. That involves a mentorship with Stephanie Lake. That's really an exciting part of it. I've met her a few years ago now through the dancer community, through classes, and I really liked the way she worked. She really is very open, very approachable, and she's just very generous with her knowledge. And she has really inspired me to start making my own work, my solo. I've never done that before, but I know that I need to do that. To tell you the truth, I have thought to myself, I'm crazy. I'm a dancer and I'm deaf. Am I doing the right thing? But I know I am. I really do. It feels right for me. It feels like this is the right path, and I've known that since I was a young girl. I just had to believe in myself to pursue it.
I used to come here with my grandparents to watch the ballet, and sometimes when I work inside I actually remembered where I used to sit. Seeing the grandparents bringing their children, and even parents bringing their children, really give me fond memories. My name is David Baker and I work here as an usher. Also do a bit of cloakroom and access. Outside of this, I'm also a theatre arts worker for people with disabilities.
My name's James Dipnall. I'm the Manager of Visitor Services here at Centre Melbourne, and part of my role is also Disability Access Management.
I was introduced through Fiona Cook from Arts Access Victoria. Sat down, had a meeting with Fiona. She was telling me about a few ideas, and one of them, she actually mentioned the Arts Centre.
Fiona approached us and said that she was looking for an opportunity, and I suppose initially it was a placement opportunity, but the timing was such that only about 2 months after you started the placement here, we had an ushering recruitment round, and so I suppose David was in an excellent position to put in a formal application along with literally 600 or 700 other people. David was part of that standard formal process and then got the job and is now, you know, as much of a part of the team as anybody else who has come through exactly the same process.
Whenever I'm on the floor, I never feel as if I have a disability. I always feel as if I'm a part of the team. You know, I'm a part of it. I'm included. You know, it's just like I'm one of these guys. You know, it's just like look, there might be some boundaries where it might be sometimes it might be hard to hear, but I actually like generally do lip read, and I do, but I just don't let that bother me. I just like let it go and just like go for it. I don't let it be a boundary for me. Put on the uniform and I'm a part of the team. I know I'm very much included in being equal.
I would encourage organisations to work with Arts Access Victoria to provide those opportunities, because I think they educate the team that you're working as part of, they educate the audience. They're an amazing opportunity for all of those people, for the individual involved and the people that they are working with. I think David's presence on the team sometimes sheds new light on some of the performances that we have. So, you know, when David's rostered to work a performance where perhaps there is, for example, Auslan interpretation or a caption performance, then he can add a little bit of extra support to the audience members that some of our other staff members might not be able to do. So I think it changes people's perspective in a massively positive way.
But I think this is what the fantastic thing about Pathways is you know, they actually act as mentors to actually give people with disabilities a chance to actually go out there and give things a try. Now I feel as if I'm able to grow myself as an usher. I hope to be, you know, give it a few years' time, I could actually be under other things. But I feel as if I'm actually growing all the time. Whenever I receive a roster, I'm like, yay! You know, I've got some shifts coming up. It is my dream place to work, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I think that's something that certainly has come back since day one, has been his absolutely infectious enthusiasm for the role and that real passion, and that's something that, you know, adds so much to the team. Where we work is about people coming to have a great time, and if there's someone like David smiling at you on the door when you arrive, then you know that you're in for a fantastic evening, and I think that's something that he really contributes massively to the team, is that huge enthusiasm and passion for the role and love for the job and the place.
Even when I was sometimes on the end of the escalators or somewhere, I'll go, yeah. Like,
when it's a little bit hairy, don't
when it's a little bit hairy. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening. You know, that's fine. Yeah, when it's get a bit hairy, you know, it's like you know, just always approach with a smile, and it's just like, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to be a dancer. I used to live in Japan. I used to seek love from the people around me. I used to be embraced. I used to be rejected. I used to strive to go forwards. I used to push myself onwards and onwards. I used to go places. I used to meet people. I used to search for love.
My name is Eva Sifis and I am a reawakening performer. I've always been a performer my entire life, but I sustained a head injury in '99.
I had to get home. The red man was flashing. The car was slowing to a stop, so I rushed out onto the road. Only the car didn't stop. He took off at speed and he collected me.
I was forced to step away from being a dancer because I wasn't physically able to be a dancer again. I had to learn to walk again, talk again, everything all over again. I told myself I couldn't perform anymore. I wasn't a dancer anymore. So over time, I became involved with disability arts because it seemed like a niche created for me. I was disabled and I was an artist. My involvement with Arts Access Victoria includes being an Associate Director for the Other Film Festival in 2012, a participant in the Pathways program, and I'm now the Project Officer for the Leslie Hall Arts and Disability Scholarship. The Pathways program is a program supporting artists with a disability to continue and to explore and to extend their arts practice. I was very honoured and touched to be asked to be part of the Pathways program because that's something I recognised I really needed, which was a hand held out to me, support and advice about getting myself forward. Fiona Cook is the manager for the Pathways program. When Fiona first said, Eva, how about a show? How about getting out there and telling your story on stage? First of all, I was dismissive, then I was terrified. It was quite a process because I felt then, and I still kind of feel, that that was a box that I had compartmentalised. Me as a dancer, me as a performing artist, I'd compartmentalised, I'd wrapped up in a box, tied it up with twine and stuck it back there in my past. Going into that process brought up all the grief. The first rehearsals that I did with my director, Xanthi Beasley, I started crying and I needed to get it out. So it wasn't until probably the 5th or the 6th week that we worked that I was finally able to complete the 2 hours we spent together dry-eyed. She was quiet and she allowed me to express, and she allowed me to freak out if I needed to freak out. She allowed me to freak out, but she was still there quietly supporting me and quietly bringing me back on track and giving me exercises and creating the space for me to feel comfortable to endeavour to express myself physically. The Leslie Hall Arts and Disability Scholarship is a celebration of the life of Leslie Hall, who was a major activist and advocate for people with disabilities. And the scholarship will recognise an artist with a disability who has the idea for a piece of art that has advocacy and activism at its core. It's important to me because of my own experience, and my experience is just a facet of everybody who has a disability. Coming to terms with the fact that I wasn't a dancer anymore, I couldn't move the way I could anymore. It was important for me to redefine who I was as a person post-injury, and in that definition of myself, I saw the possibility for me to make a difference. The Leslie Hall Scholarship, together with my involvement with the Pathways program, has enabled me to raise my head from the years of self-deprecation, from the years of believing that I wasn't good enough, from the years of believing I wasn't capable anymore. This has enabled me to gain confidence in myself once more.
I'm a photographer. So I'm a photographer with low vision that has a guide dog, or has a good dog. As a dog. Photography's always been with me ever since I was a little kid. Really, I always had a little camera in my hand. I love documenting the world around me because my eyes can't see what your eyes can see. So the camera becomes my eyes to see things that everybody else sees. My eye condition's called retinitis pigmentosa. So I have no vision in my left eye and tunnel vision in my right eye. And I can see around about 2-3 metres to the average person 70 metres clear. I've been with Arts Access for about 4 years now and was part of the Pathways program. My mentor for the Pathways project was Dr. Marcus Bunyan. Marcus was teaching me the artistic side of photography. So I'm going from journalistic documentary photography into the artistic side of photography. And out of that, we created density.
When you see Andrew's images, you don't want to think, here is a blind person taking photography. You just want to think, this is good art. We talked about the concept for the exhibition, which was he can see better at night than he can during the day. So we came up with this idea of these kind of liminal spaces, which are fluid spaces. I'd take him to these places that either he'd found or I'd found, for example, Windsor, the skate park ramp out the back of Windsor train station at night. He'd set his camera up, he'd open the back of the camera and he'd go, oh my God, it's like a lunar landscape at night with all these coloured lights and things. You know? Because until he opened that camera lens, he couldn't see what I was seeing. So it was a kind of a symbiotic relationship, yes, okay? We would work together as a team to produce these images, you know? It was him taking the photos, him setting up the camera and the angles, but it was also a joint thing as well. It was pretty beautiful, actually. But it's a very enriching experience. I think we had so much fun. It was stressful at times, In the early
part of the relationship, working relationship, yeah, I'd sat down, I was like, this is what I can see, this is what I can't see. But I had to keep reinforcing that through the whole journey of the project, because he would forget.
You have to be more sensitive. I mean, sometimes I'd say, oh, look at that, Andrew. And he said, I can't see it. Couldn't see it. You can't imagine being Andrew with no vision in one eye and 30% tunnel vision in another eye. If you do that for yourself, like this, and you look at the world, you have to understand what he can see and can't see.
Now, he fully understands, which is good. And just recently I sent a photograph to him. He goes, I really appreciate what you can see and can't see. I can understand, and that was good hearing that from him. Like my passion is photography. I absolutely love it. And if you've got somebody else working with you that has that same passion and commitment, I mean, you can learn so much from that other person. It was a good working relationship, and we still are working together, which is good.
Andrew's a wonderful person, he has so much passion and dedication, and he just loves photography so much. And really, to do what he does, to use what little vision he has to go out and document his life and the world, and to want to be an artist, not an artist with a disability, just a photographer, I really admire that, He has the courage of his convictions, and he just goes out and does it. And any way that you can facilitate that, any way you can help somebody do that is a fantastic thing to do.
I'd like to be a mentor for other artists. I think it'd be really beneficial for me to give back what I've learned. I think if you've got a passion for whatever artistic path you're going on, and you need a mentor or guidance to move yourself forward to the next level, I think the Pathways program is really, really good and very beneficial.